Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Between Two Coaches. We're on a mission to make fitness more human, snark sold separately. I'm Amanda, and I'm joined, as always, by my co host.
Coach Nick, it's me, and I'm here, and we're here, and we're back, and we have another great episode for you. Today, we're going to do the AITAH, Am I the Asshole Reddit Reads? And so we're going to have a little fun with that and just dive into coaching and life stuff. And Amanda's going to share all the details and just some great stuff. But first, Amanda, how are you doing?
Good. This is the first time I think that we've done an afternoon episode, or if we had, it's probably only happened once before. But Tuesday's my first day back to work. Today was 4 classes, so I've been going for quite some time. Had a athlete call, catching up with one of my runners who's planning out her summer and fall schedule. Very exciting.
That is
Uh,
exciting.
and onboarding another athlete this evening for one of my personal training clients. So just catching up. Tuesday's a Monday for me, so looking forward to I'm already looking forward to sleeping. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, sleep is cool. Tuesday is the new Monday, they say. So happy for you. Yeah, we're doing it in the afternoon because I got a new schedule and I'm trying to make it work during business hours, as the people say.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be not. I have had these business hours, so welcome to the team. The team does not work in the evenings because we've been up early hours and we don't need to do things later than we don't need to, period. We don't need to do things later.
We don't need to do things later, period. No further
No
explanation.
notes.
No
How was
notes.
your week?
It was good. We, along those lines, we are excitedly going to see Lilo and Stitch movie tonight, and I get to do it because we're recording the podcast earlier, so that's exciting. My week was pretty good. My daughter did her dance recital,
How'd
and
that
so
go?
it went well. She did. She was in like 4 dances, so she was very excited about that. She used the lyra, which is that little spinny circle thing that you see in some of the dance routines. It's like a hoop that hangs from the ceiling,
Okay.
like Cirque stuff, like Cirque du Soleil. But anyway, so she was in it and she was rocking it. So that was fun. I did a long run with one of my athletes on Saturday, so that was really fun. We stayed local. We fought tornadoes all Friday. Tornado watch season is here in Maryland, so hooray for that. Got in some good running, a couple good runs, a good workout. Did a run with my friend during the morning hours. That was fun to be able to embrace that new life and just learning the new life, the new hours, the new routine. Hardest part is when you have free will of your schedule to make sure you stay disciplined and do the work and not just scroll on social media for 8 hours and call it a day. Not that I've done that, but we're working through all of it.
Yeah, again, welcome to the Be Your Own Boss Club, and we're happy to have you here. If you need more structure, just give me access to your Google Calendar, and I'll set you up. Because mine is it's sociopath status. That's mine. But we get what we need to done. It can be really challenging. I think a lot of people who work for the man think that it's really sexy and glamorous to be your own boss, but it is arguably way more challenging, at least in the beginning. Once you have systems in place, you're a happier human, but it could be really, really tough to focus your attention when you don't have somebody breathing down your throat. Is that the saying?
I
Breathing down your
think
throat? No, no,
no
no one's in your
neck.
mouth.
We're
Neck.
going down
Wow.
necks.
If any boss is breathing down your throat, you may want to go to HR.
Yeah, that's a big red flag at any
That
business.
flag is never turning green. Really creepy. I had an experience like that. Okay, yeah, so that's I think we're where we're at. I'm very happy to hear that you're running and living life and also figuring things out, Coach Nick.
Thanks. I have a secret grievance to share with you today. It's a surprise. You don't even know about it. So
Yeah, but the
my
homegirls love, we love agreements. Give it to
they
us.
do. Well, my grievance is really around this instant gratification world of running. And what I have found is I'm really struggling to see too many people who come into sport either a young age or very new to running and start PRing a lot or start success, because it's usually you have some success in endurance sports when you start and they struggle a lot with patience. Your greatest asset as a runner, as an endurance sport athlete, is patience. And social media is full of do this workout and you'll get 12% more VO2 max or 17% more fitness, or just made up numbers that aren't real. And everyone wants to be as fast as they can, as fast as possible, right? And I think we've lost the bubble a lot on patience. We have professionals in our sport. We have people who've been running for 15, 20 years who will tell you stories, myself included, where it took 7 years to reach like PRs, to the max PRs, the max fitness, right? That's usually the phrase that goes around. It takes about 7 years to hit your prime. And everyone wants it in their first 2 years. They want it in their first year. They want to push as hard as as hard as they can to get there as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And our bodies aren't built for that, and you can have some success, but you will it'll catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish more people, especially people in early on in their sport, I don't care what age you are, but you have many years of running ahead of you if you want. People are achieving greatness in their 40s still. To give yourself some time and some ability to say, hey, if I really just play this out, if I really just focus on each training block building upon the last one and just getting a little bit better, how high can I fly? Versus, oh my God, I have to hit this magical barrier and I have to, then people will respect me, or then Instagram will notice me, or I'll get in a special club. It's not a thing. Nothing. Your life doesn't change. You run a BQ, your life doesn't change. You break three, your life doesn't change. Heck, you run an OTQ, for the most part, your life doesn't change. You go run one race, usually in some hot city, and the course is terrible, and then you're back to normal, right? Not much changes in your life, but you think you get all this respect and all these things, and you destroy your body in the process. So I wish people would practice more patience. I wish people would look more long term, and I wish they would just show up and say, if I can really put this together for a bit, wow, I can really go far.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Why do you think people are so impatient about achieving fitness goals?
I think a lot of things: social media, recognition from peers, from brands, from others, respect. I think people do it for reasons of they think hitting some certain goal will finally complete you, right? If I just run a BQ, then I'll be happy and my life will be set. And yeah, you'll go run a BQ and then you'll go run Boston, and then what will happen next? It doesn't change anything. Like, it's great. I'm not saying don't shoot for these goals. I'm just saying a lot of the times we push them so fast because we think they'll fill some void in our life, when really the void needs to be filled with many other things, heck, therapy or other things that could really solve that stuff to make this a more sustainable long-term thing. On top of that, I think the social media has amplified, well, if you're fast, then you're important and we need to listen to you. Because I put a thread up about, like, do people care if your coach puts their PRs in there, if you have a fast coach or not? And it was still 50% of people who were like, yeah, I want a fast coach. I want someone who's faster than me. I want someone who's achieved something I haven't. So, if you want to be successful as a coach, then the idea out there is at least 50% of my small poll is people who want you to be fast. So that helps you get more athletes and helps you grow. So I think just people think for the wrong reasons that being, like, forcing their journey faster is going to get them to different places.
I have two things to say. Everything you're saying reminds me of the arrival fallacy, which is that belief, right? That you're gonna reach this happiness, the top of happiness mountain after achieving a specific goal. And we know, as the term suggests, it is in fact a fallacy. And I think that we need to get into the mindset of I want a lifelong relationship with running. I want a lifelong relationship with fitness. And the process to which I wouldn't want to feel like I arrived. Because then what's next? What else is there? If you feel like you've arrived, then you could just cash out at that point.
Yeah, the next
So
next is the unarrival is next.
I hate that. I hate that for us. That's departure, right? So that's one. And then the second thing I'm going to say is a shout out is a one of our listeners, John. He sent me a very funny message this week because he knows my sense of humor, and it's speaking to what you just said. He goes, Amanda, what's worse? Because I've commented on this before. When somebody puts their finishing time in their Instagram bio, or how many followers they have on TikTok in their Instagram bio. And I laughed because I truly don't know what's worse. Both are pretty bad. The bad comes down to how people see themselves and what they identify with, and this validation, this constant chase. So that would be your secret grievance is a grievance for me too, Coach Nick. I wish we could get past this and that we could overcome this. And I think that the work that you and I do are hopefully changing the conversation.
I hope so too. Secret Grievance Alliance.
SGA. SGA. Okay. Well. It's also June 3rd. So we've officially started Pride Month.
Yeah.
This is I wasn't planning to say this, but I think it's important to say. This is a safe space for all people, and there are so many wonderful LGBTQA athletes that Nick and I both coach, and this community thrives because of the people who make up the LGBTQA community, and we are celebrating Pride all month long. We are celebrating everyone. We are celebrating everyone unless you are a homophobe, a transphobe, a bigot, a racist, an anti-Semite. We're not. You can go somewhere else. Do you co-sign that, Coach Nick?
I do. Co-signed and agreed. No hate here.
No hate here. Not welcome. Not welcome. But okay, we may
Well,
throw some hate because we're about to go into the "Am I an asshole?" thread on
yes.
Reddit. So a couple of things. We did this episode in the fall and I really enjoyed it. I need everyone listening to enjoy it too and to share it with a friend, because Coach Nick and I were like, oh, the numbers for this episode aren't that high, but this is actually very quality content, very quality. So what I do is I go through the depths of Reddit in the last, quarter. I found the last 3 months, really the last 2 weeks, some Reddit threads in the AITAH thread, which is the Am I an Asshole thread. But I also found a couple of really good posts from like Run NYC and in the other threads. So we're going to see what we get through today, but let's start with a banger.
Okay.
Banger. Am I the asshole for attending the same run club? Oh, by the way, Coach Nick doesn't know anything. That's
Nope.
the other thing. He knows nothing.
I'm with you people. We're all the same today.
You are all reacting at the same time. I am the only one in the know. Okay. And now, back. Am I the asshole for attending the same run club as my ex against their wishes? All right, here's the post. My ex and I are a part of the same run club in our city. It is the premier run club, bar none, and hence has a ton of participating members. I introduced her to the club while we were dating, but was not really attending myself at the time, as I was not training for anything or focused on running. No races were coming up. She took a liking to the club and would attend sporadically while we dated as her schedule and injuries permitted. I wasn't going at the time, but had gone a few times before I ever met her. We broke up in December on cordial terms and remained in contact. As a part of my New Year's resolution and in the light of the loneliness of the breakup, I sought to start attending the run club more often in order to, one, put myself out there and make new friends, get involved in the community, something I've historically shied away from, and two, to meet more runners, just generally friends that aren't quote unquote drinking buddies, as tend to be the dynamic with a lot of my current friends. And three, get back into running, particularly as the weather warms up. The motivation to attend has increased a lot in the last couple of weeks as I learned that I was accepted into a race that is in less than 2 months and I won a PR. Originally, when we were in the bargaining phase of the breakup, I had asked if she was comfortable with me going to the run club, and she said she'd prefer we not cross paths. He didn't even write, pun intended. That was a missed opportunity. Okay. I agreed to check with her before attending and told her I would stand down anytime she is going. This was a mistake for several reasons. To the extent I let her, she can basically prevent me from ever going. Since I agreed to give her first right of refusal, I hadn't signed up for a race or attended the club when I made this accommodation. And the third reason, I since have gone twice and had a really nice time. Since that I know have extra motivation to go, and the notion of bending at the knee is far less palatable now. In short, my ex does not want me to attend the club on account of it being her thing and would like me to join a different club. Am I the asshole for not wanting to settle for a second fiddle club? What is appropriate and or inappropriate, and should I be standing up for myself or complying to her wishes?
It's like who gets the friends when you break up, right? Like, the friend groups, right? It's always like the big thing. Oh well, those were my friends. I brought them into the group, so you can't be friends with them. It's a run club all over again, right? So much going on here. He introduced her to run club. It also sounds like it's not implied or said, but he was like, oh, once they broke up, I'll just start going to run club that she's already going to. Was a little like, why now? So I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I don't know if anyone owns a run club. Most run clubs. So I'm picturing, let's use it twofold. If it's like a 6-person run club, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 150-person run club, okay. Like you can all be there. Like it's like going to a bar and your ex happens to be at a bar. Like you don't own the bar, you don't own the run club. So size of run club sort of matters. If it's just going to be like 5 of you hanging out, like that's not. But it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like it's the premier run club, but it doesn't say where. So the premier could be like a small city with 50 people. But anyway, I think no one owns run club. Running is for everyone, and I think she needs to get over it, and he should be allowed to be there, especially since it was his thing, even though I think he's going on ill intentions when he decided to start going post breakup.
Okay, so a couple of things. If you are unfamiliar with Reddit, dear listener, the original poster, so the person, posing the question, we call them OP. So OP, who happens to be a male because he identifies on Reddit as Mr. Bo Bangles. Okay. So we're just clarifying there that Coach Nick was correctly assuming. OP. All right. So your vote, Coach Nick, is that NTA, not the asshole.
He's not the asshole. No.
Okay. We're gonna have to unpack this a little bit. So OP, was this your first relationship? Because the bargaining phase of the breakup, unless you have a cat or a shared pair of Normatec boots, what are we bargaining when we break up with somebody? Was this your first relationship, OP? Because you asked the question. You asked if she was comfortable going to run club. She was honest.
That's true.
Okay, OP, you were not. So now are you the asshole for attending the run club? No. However, you now need to make yourself clear and come clean with your ex and say, I recognize that it was my mistake, right? I really enjoy being here. I want you to feel comfortable because you had shared with me when I asked you that you would not be comfortable if we crossed paths. Now that I've attended the club a few times and you've been present, is this still an issue for you? Right? What can I do to make sure that you are not uncomfortable with my presence? Because OP, you made an error.
That's true.
Can OP attend the run club? Does the OP need to attend run club every time run club is run clubbing? I don't know. I say maybe not. So I don't have an answer for this one because I don't think that I don't like what happened here. This goes beyond the run club.
Oh, that's true. You're right. So giving when they bargain something that doesn't need to be bargained, that creates a whole nother level of complexity because Run Club is Run Club and no one owns it. So you're right. By adding in that conversation, you're bordering on asshole territory because now
Yes.
you're like, oh well, we agreed to this thing, but I've changed my mind. Too bad, so sad. Like that's not how it works. So you're right. There is that complication. If there was not that bargaining, no one owns Run Club. Again, I'd say the size of it factors in, but like, you don't give up. No one Run Club doesn't go to one person in a relationship. Everyone just needs to accept that Run Club is for all,
That's right.
and don't bring
That
your
is
drama
right.
there. So you're right.
Yeah. Well, that that's something I hear often. Okay.
Lots of relationships start at Run Club, so lots of relationships end at Run Club.
That's truly my worst fear. But then again, I have to admit I'm not a part of a run club.
Except for tomorrow night.
Oh, you reminded me. This is very funny because um the server is down for Reddit. Uh-oh, hold on. I know what the next one was gonna be too. Hold on, let's see what it is. The next one was good. Yeah, so to your point, oh, we're back. We're
We're
back. Oh,
back.
thank goodness. Thank goodness. A good thing I took screenshots just in case. Yeah, I know. I always have a backup plan. You learn that, Coach Nick. Take notes. Always have a backup plan. All right. Our next one, we're shifting gears, as the kids say. Title of this one is said not to eat back exercise calories because of excess weight. Is right. Okay, so I'm not going to mention numbers because this is a safe space and we did not do a trigger warnings at the beginning of the podcast. So the OP says that they always end up eating at least a certain amount of calories on non-running days. I've been trying to lose weight for a while now. I have a deficit as the highest I'll lose. And then they mention the calories with the stipulation that I eat back my exercise calories. So even on a normal day when I don't run, I consume about whatever amount of calories. I told this to my doctor, and he said I don't need to be doing that because there's enough in my body for my body to pull from.
Oh.
This person is essentially asking Reddit for advice, not really even advice. Like they are asking if this is true. Do you want to start, Coach Nick, or do you want me to go here?
Oh, you can go. I know you have
Okay.
feelings about this.
No, the feeling is that this person's doctor is not a nutrition professional, and that this person has to recognize, and I think a lot of people don't understand this. So this is a good opportunity for a teachable moment, that your doctor may be very smart in the specialty that your doctor is smart in. And just like any other profession, there are people who really should not speak outside their scope of practice, but because they have certain credentials and maybe feel a certain type of way about who they are and those credentials, they feel that they can speak on certain topics. This is one topic that really grinds my gears because I will have athletes come to me and say, my doctor said that I need to be cutting carbohydrates because my whatever piece of blood work is showing this and it wasn't showing this last time. Your doctor does not, unless you are working with a sports medicine specialist, does not understand the needs of your active body. I highly encourage folks who are looking to dive deeper into their nutrition needs to hire a sports dietitian. At the very least, tap into their free resources that so many of the wonderful sports dietitians we've had on our podcast put on their own websites and on social media. So, also, as an aside, this doctor was wrong.
Yeah. Um, primary care doctors are always notorious for this kind of stuff. They get like 5 to 10 hours of nutrition training, is what I've been told, and then they speak on it like they know things, and they don't, and that's okay. I mean, so you just have to understand. Like, I think people rely on their primary care doctor to do everything. Your primary care doctor helps you not have diseases and illnesses, and looks for those types of things, and your shots and all the things to protect you. But like your levels, your blood work, your intake of carbs, your those types of things, they don't have expertise on whatsoever, and that is not their expertise, and relying on them is not the best path.
I do know. I do know. I think that that is exactly the right answer. Exactly the right answer. All right. Let's pull up another Reddit. All right. Is my body trying to tell me enough? Move on. I feel so ridiculous because I'm sitting here writing this with tears in my eyes, feeling so discouraged. In late October, I developed a grade 4B stress fracture in my tibia, training for a half marathon. I've been running since 2018, and in that training cycle, I was doing all the things I knew I shouldn't be. Trying to lose weight while training, not resting enough, not strength training or cross training. My ortho is very seriously debating sending me to a trauma team to have a rod inserted, but instead put me on 7 weeks of strict no weight bearing to see if it improved before referring for surgery. Thankfully, it began to heal. In February, I was cleared to be in PT for the return to run journey. It's been one step forward, two steps back. Nerve pain at the fracture site, Achilles tendonitis, a weak right glute, tendonitis in my foot. Once one thing got better, another cropped up. I went to PT 2 times a week and worked hard at home. I strength trained 5 to 6 days a week, walked and biked. While I decided to focus on nourishing my body rather than weight loss, I did change up my diet by eating higher protein, nutrient-rich diet, mostly homemade meals. Finally, last week I was cleared to return to run. I did 2 runs, 1 minute run, 1 minute walk 3 times. She describes her protocol. I felt good during and after, and I was convinced that after months of setbacks, I was finally going to be able to go back to running. Cue to 2 a.m. when I woke up with pretty significant discomfort in my right glute that was radiating down my leg. I contacted my PT, and she thinks it may be a sciatic nerve. Of course, I need to immediately stop all activity. I feel so defeated. It really feels like my body is trying to send the message that running is too much for it and that it would rather be sedentary than try to keep pushing. Has anyone experienced this? If so, when do you know it's time to move on and to find something else to put your focus on?
Oh, that's a rough one. I think it there's like a lot of there's so much that could possibly going on. There's so much extra going on. Sometimes setbacks are a part of your journey, and that's okay. I mean, the time to give up is when you just don't want to do it anymore, right? But like, if you want to keep trying, like, it's nothing wrong. Like, this is sometimes people's journeys, right? And that with great obstacles to overcome means that it's going to take a little while and be smart and have to deal with these moments. But if you really like the thing you're doing and you really want to run, then just keep trying. There's little things like this that will pop up, and it's just how you adapt and how you work in those moments.
Yeah, OP sounds like somebody who could really use a community. Injury takes such a mental toll, and to make sure that outside of a physical therapist, maybe they're tapping into a mental health therapist, as well as getting involved in just like a community outside of running, whether that's a book club or we've spoken on this podcast before about, meeting up with friends for dinner outside of running or movies. There's a lot that we can do for ourselves, but it seems that recovery is your sport now, OP. And the walks, the cross training, the strength training 5 to 6 days a week, that's not, I don't know what professional you have in your corner outside of a physical therapist, but that's a lot for your body to handle in addition to healing from an injury. So sometimes these things come all at once. Your body just starts to bit by bit. You can't recover well from niggle to niggle, injury to injury because of not just, a couple of months, but potentially years of not taking care of ourselves. So give yourself grace and know that, like, since you've had years of not taking care of yourself and you recognize that it's going to take more time, patience is your best friend.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, patience is a big part of this, and when you can't practice it, then some on the back end you're going to have to deal with it, and that's just sort of a part of the story. And like, at least you acknowledge that you had some periods where it was hard, and now it's about how do I, fix all those problems that I dealt with.
Yes, no notes on that. I'm going to do one more brief, very brief Reddit read, and it comes from the gym group. The title is "A Communal Steam Room is Not Your Neti Pot." If your sinuses are completely full of phlegm, take a long shower at home. Don't make the steam room a super spreader event. This shouldn't need to be explained. So this OP isn't asking a question, but I think it's worth commenting on, Coach Nick.
Yeah, it is. Don't do this. Don't use these rooms as your cleanse rooms. Don't use these rooms to spread all your illness. Don't cough on people all throughout a tiny space in, one of these steam rooms. They're not big and they're very hot, and let's not do that, right? Let's keep this place clean, go get healthy, and then go back in.
The behaviors that I've witnessed as somebody who spends 5, 6 hours at a luxury gym, immediately jail most of these people. Why are you bringing a razor into the steam room to shave your legs, Miriam? What inspired you to bring a sandwich into the dry sauna, Lorraine?
Well, maybe it heats the sandwich up like you want grilled cheese, and then like it melts the cheese.
Absolutely disgusting. I remember, and I've brought this up before, there was a time, and that's just those habits, right? Let's talk about if you are ill, stay home. Do not bring your illness into the gym. Do not bring your illness to dinner. Do not bring your illness to the theater. Do not bring your illness to the movies. Stay home, okay? You are hacking up a lung. You sound like you've been smoking a pack of cigarettes every hour on the hour for the last 40 years of your life. We do not need you spreading your virus, your illness amongst other people. It is rude. It is selfish. It is disrespectful. I find it hilarious that in 2020, when there was a pandemic, everyone was going around and they were like, this is going to change people. Everyone is going to take care of themselves and each other. We wear a mask not only to protect ourselves, but to protect our community. Spend 30 minutes in a gym with your headphones off, just looking around, and you will see how much society has changed as a result of a global pandemic. And the answer is a resounding no. They have not. People are who they are, but if we can shed light on one person who thought that the steam room was their neti pot, I will feel like my job here is done.
Yeah, I actually thought people would be, more better with illness, and then I went to my office when we went back, and everyone just came in and they were sick, and I was like, "What are we doing here, people? Just go home." Well, I don't want to use sick leave. Okay, yeah, don't. Especially let's keep the steam room safe. Let's start there.
I agree. Can I ask one more that recently just got posted? It popped up on the Reddit feed that I think is worth addressing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a New York specific one. So New York Roadrunners is partnering with a company called Cup Zero to reduce single-use waste. So at an upcoming race, the MasterCard New York Mini 10K, they're going to have these reusable hydration cups. And what they're doing is they're strongly encouraging runners to return the cups to the designated receptacles in the post-finish area. Returning the cup ensures it can be cleaned and reused, supporting both the environment and the program's success. What are your thoughts on this, Coach Nick?
My first thought is why. So at every aid station, they usually have people who sweep up all of the cups. Why can't those people just sweep up all those cups, put them in a bag, and that's how we reuse these cups? Why is it on me to carry a cup for 10K? Like, and what if do I get multiple cups? Like, do I get a cup at the first aid station and I'm supposed to bring it to the second one and they fill it up? Or do I take that cup, stick it on my body somehow, grab a cup at the second aid station, put that on my body somehow, get to the third one, take that one, and then throw all those into a bin at the end? I'm not carrying an extra 3 grams for a race. Like, that's going to slow me down.
My thought is that this is a lovely idea in the land of those who believe that, you know, we can save the world in this way. The same people who were like, yeah, let's make straws paper and it's absolute trash. This is a lovely idea. I'm very curious to see how this plays out in practice because I don't see it playing out in practice.
No, but like what I mean, you can do this at the aid stations. Like I will gladly throw if you give me a cup, I will gladly throw it in a bin right next to the water
Right
aid
there.
station right there. That is an idea. Like there you go. But making me carry it to the finish line and then I'm gonna hold the cup in my finish line photo. How's that gonna play out on Instagram? Just me
No.
and a cup? Like
Oh
what?
my God.
What if it's 3 cups? Like I'm holding 3 cups in the air with my finish line photo? Like that's not happening.
We're not, yeah. So
Are
we
are the
are,
pros going to carry their cups too? Or is it just for the non-professionals?
uh-huh,
Because they'll take
uh-huh.
a water cup, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, this individual who posted it on Reddit, I am assuming just wanted a reaction. I'm able to click it now. So Reddit was down momentarily. We can now click it. So the OP did ask, what do you feel on it? Let's just highlight what somebody else felt. They did it at Fred Lebo half just before the start, not during the race. So that's interesting. I'm gonna pause here. Did I run? No, I didn't run that race. I'm
No, you
sorry.
didn't.
They did it. How do you know? How do you know?
I don't know.
They did it at, no, I didn't run this race. This race is terrible. This Fred Lebo half, I have athletes who run this race. It is in, it is always like the worst day in winter. And it's 2 loops of Central Park, which is horrifying. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I know that they do the women's half for it, which I've run. That's not, anyway. They did it at Fred Lebo half just before the start, not during the race. It was kind of annoying finding the right drop location and feels like performative environmentalism rather than actual environmentalism. Talking to New Balance about not wrapping every shirt in plastic seems more useful to me than replacing compostable cups with reusable cups that require additional transportation and washing.
Yeah.
No notes.
Also, does that mean the cups you're using for the mini 10K have been used already by some other person, or are you using it for the first time? Because that's what I want to know.
You know what I know? I know that I'm going to be carrying my handheld for the foreseeable future. I know that I trust absolutely No.
Did you see there's people were posting on threads about some gel aid stations in some country where they were like gasoline hoses and they had gels inside of them?
And they're just firing them at
I don't
people.
know how you're supposed to use it. Maybe you're supposed to stop and like use the gasoline hose to like fuel up in your mouth. No one really could comment. I think it's Kafuzi, and he was posting asking every day, "Does it taste like like a rubber hose?" And no one would answer. But I've seen these pictures too, so maybe this is the direction we're going. You'll just roll up to an aid station. It's really just a gas station, and like instead of diesel, it'll be water, and then the instead of unleaded, it'll be like Morton gels, and then premium will be SIS beta gels, and you just hose in your mouth, and you just keep going.
That is hilarious. I have not been on Threads in a while, but I think I'll go back on just for that. That is so funny. Well, that's all we have, folks.
Yeah, that's what we got.
That's what we got. That's what we got. Next week, we'll be welcoming our
Don't tell them. A secret guest.
secret guest talking about a really important topic. We are looking forward to having her on for the first time. You'll just have to tune in and find out. I think that's all, right? We have, oh, I almost forgot. We will be recording very soon a new Patreon. One of the topics that we will be covering this month is around something that I had shared on my social media about my bone mineral density and ways that I went about improving that and reversing a very scary osteoporosis diagnosis over the last couple of years. And I'm excited to share some of the tips and tricks that I learned throughout this journey on the Patreon. So if you're not already subscribing, head on over and subscribe.
Yeah,
As
and we're
always, yeah, go ahead.
gonna do some Q&A. If you just send some questions on the Patreon, and we'll answer them this week.
Yes, please send your questions. We love that. I was going to say one more thing. Yes, I got asked a couple of times, do we still have our Crank Sports discount code? So if you want to save money on your gels as you're gearing up for your races in the fall, we love to stay fueled. Use B2 at checkout so you not only support your pockets, but you'll support the pod.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And you can reach out to us, at any time at betweentwocoaches@gmail.com on our Instagrams. And we will see you all next time.
Bye.